What you say?
No, I got a good mouthpiece. I know how to work it. Like, yes, come to Vegas. You'll meet me.
And how much that used to go for that good mouthpiece I'm seeing?
Oh, this, you gotta try it for yourself.
Oh, it's the kid getting words. Podcast don't last, giving you the real talk, no holding back. Can't get any worse, we'll make you see. There's always a silver lining. We'll set you free, so join the movement. Let's change the game with the Can't Get Any Worse podcast.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Can't Get Any Worse podcast. How are we all today? I hope we're all well. Having a ripper Tuesday, just cracking into whatever we have going on. I know a lot of you went back to work last week, and the remaining few of us are unfortunately heading back to work this week. So I'm in the same boat, ladies and gentlemen. I'm right there with you. I have today and Tuesday off, and then I'm back into it on Wednesday. So who the fuck goes back to work on a Wednesday? But anyway, before we rip into some other cool stories, let's see what that opening clip was all about.
What you say?
No, I got a good mouthpiece. I know how to work it. Like, yes, come to Vegas. You'll meet me.
And how much that used to go for that good mouthpiece I'm seeing?
Oh, this, you gotta try it for yourself.
I've got a good mouthpiece. I know how to work it. That's usually only a sentence you ever hear come out of a boxer's mouth or a sex worker. No one else ever says that phrase, you know what I mean? Like, oh, God, there is no way I'm trusting a cracked-out prostitute. A cracked-out prostitute with no teeth. That mouth has seen a thing or two, and I am just not interested, thank you. So thank you very much for the offer, but your mouth looks like a crime scene, and your teeth have gone on parole. Where the fuck are all your teeth gone? Oh, who am I to judge, you know what I mean? I got the most fucked up teeth in the podcasting game, but hey, if you can't make fun of people, what are we all doing, you know? People, feel free to make fun of me. Anyone that wants to chop up my clips and throw a bit of shade my way, feel free. We all know I could use the clout. Speaking about clout, let me get rid of this video so I can see my run sheet for today. I wanted to kick off the episode by touching on a couple of things. I briefly mentioned them on the Can't Get Any Worse Instagram stories yesterday. So just a couple of options heading into 2012. So I suppose the first one we'll start on. I mentioned last year that a big thing I wanted to do was get some sponsors on board, right? And this year, I don't know what it is. I don't know. And this goes for sponsors and guests. Guests are the next thing that I'm going to touch on. But sponsors to start with, I don't know if it's because I've hit like the 200 episodes mark or what it is, but now I've just got a lot of interest from sponsors and a lot of interest from guests wanting to come on the podcast. So since we're talking about sponsors and since I'm feeling a bit parched, let's crack a delicious can of Celsius. Oh, that was a beautiful crack. I'm going to have a quick sip and we'll keep going. Okay, so good segue with the Celsius. Based on the whole Celsius collaboration that we have going with the podcast, it made me start brainstorming the way that I approach sponsors and things like that, okay? Now, I just want to preface this. I want to go on record and I want to say this is how do I say this? This is a now situation, okay? So I'm not saying in like another 10 years or something, not even 10 years, like another year or two that we're in a completely different boat. But for the level that I'm at the moment, where the podcast is at, our downloads, our amount of listeners, yada, 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 it's almost impossible to get any of the big dogs involved. So what I've decided to do is much like Celsius. I noticed I was drinking it on the podcast. I was using it almost daily. So I just reached out to them, had the proof behind me, and they were all for it. They were all for sending us a case and just getting that open line of communication going. And they've seen Desley Robinson, the two-time champ, with a Celsius in her hand on the pod. They were over the moon. And this week's guest, I'll just fucking say who it is. It's not a secret. So I got Hoey Farmer on the on the podcast this week. So you guys would have seen him all over your social media, Instagram, TikTok, yada, yada, yada. And I reckon between all his platforms, like TikTok, Instagram, he'd have close to 1 million followers between like all of them put together, you know? So to have a can of Celsius in his hand as well on the podcast does huge things for me. Now, based on that, I sort of step back and I go, hey, what are some other brands that I use regularly that I can reach out to? So I just started looking in my wardrobe. I started looking at fucking shit that's in my office that I use every day, all that type of stuff. And I just started reaching out to them. And the response that I've had from them is crazy. So at some point in this podcast, there will be an ad read for a supplement company that's jumped on board. I went to my cupboard. I'm like, what supplements am I taking at the moment? Had a look at my protein, said anabolics on the side. And I was like, fuck it, let's reach out to them. And within an hour, they reached back and they're like, yeah, let's fucking do it. We've got an event coming up. We like the idea of not necessarily having like a fitness influencer. Like you're just to say this politely, they're like, oh, you're just like a regular dude using our products. And we think it'd be a good spin. So there'll be an ad read coming up. I'll insert that where I see fit. And yeah, so just sort of collaborations like that. Now, off the back of that, this is where I was going to say the whole backflip thing will come into play. So I have at this stage, I just want to reiterate that 1,000 times. At this stage, I've decided, like I'm getting to the level now of downloads and stuff a month where I can almost monetize the podcast, which is fucking sick. That's what I've wanted since episode 1. It's what most podcasters want when they start podcasting. Now, I've had a little chat with myself, and although I wanted that at the start, part of me fucking hates listening to your regular podcasts. You guys listen to them weekly as well, and you just get those annoying ad reads halfway through. It's just some annoying voiceover chick just spinning you an ad that we all fucking skip. We don't listen to. So I'm like, what's the point? Like, I would rather, like I said, find some products that I actually use. And when I'm sitting here reading the ad read to you guys, I know that if you guys happen to go and spend your money, that's the other thing. Like these companies, they're not going, oh, fucking, you're only going to make money or whatever if you use your discount code and this, you make this many sales a month and all that. None of that. They're just happy to be involved. They're happy to be on the podcast. And yeah, I just think that's the best way moving forward for me at this stage. Now, as I said, in a year or two, if fucking, I don't know, Nike comes knocking at my door or something, Nike takes a liking to the turns out it can get worse clips, and it goes, hey, we need to get behind some of these crackheads. And they go, let's throw some money at this podcast. Then maybe I'll be in a different position and I'll go, yeah, all right, send me your $1 million check and I'll read about the magic swoosh on my podcast, you know? So that's where that is all at the moment. I'd love to hear your guys' input as well. Obviously, you guys consume the podcast. And I don't want it to be an oversaturated, like, fucking 15-minute ad read in the middle, you know? Like, just 2 or 3 brands or businesses or whatever. And I'm happy, they're happy. Hopefully you guys are happy because it makes the back end side of things a bit better for me, you know? Like, I'm making some sort of like a financial progression, I suppose, in the podcast, which you guys know I've been doing this for free since day one. I mean, since we started the podcast, I think I got 3 free pair of thongs for me, Adrian, and Ash, and I think I got a free shirt at some stage. Other than that, this podcast has made zilch. So, yeah, just looking at just turning those wheels this year and just getting over that little bit of money side of things with the podcast. You have to do it, you know. You hear every podcast, and like that's the other thing as well. I don't want to shit on any podcasts or anything, but when they start ad reads and they're like, "Oh, this episode wouldn't be possible," mate. I've done 200 episodes without making a cent. If you want a podcast, it's more than possible to do it without sponsors and ad reads. So, again, that's not throwing any shade, okay? It just fucking irritates me when someone starts an ad read like that. So yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know I'm not selling out. Anything I plug on here will be what I genuinely use and believe in. So that's just a little thing there. Now, the next thing I wanted to get onto was guests. So I threw this in the stories yesterday. The amount of people that have reached out to me on their own account, which is fucking sick. I've, again, in 200 episodes, there's probably been maybe 2 or 3 of those guests that have reached out to me and gone, hey, can we come on the pod? In the last 2 weeks, I've probably had 6 people reach out to me and go, hey, we're keen to come on the pod. And I've reached out to a couple of people that I reached out to back in like 2023 when I started the pod. And now they want to come on as well. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on right now? Like, I feel like all that grinding is just slowly coming to like a good spot. So I'm stoked. Hopefully that means you guys are stoked. You're getting some good variation on the podcast, some different guests, things like that. And yeah, that's going to be sick. So the big question I had was, with all these people so keen, I've got them on the hook, right? And the last thing I want to do is let them off that hook. Like, and I hate banking episodes. I fucking hate just sitting on an episode. I want to release it as soon as I record it. That's just the type of brain I have. I just want to keep moving forward like a shark over here, you know? Anyway, so I threw it up in the stories. I'm like, is 3 episodes a week too much for you guys? And then I asked you guys what day you'd prefer a 3rd episode if there is one to get released. So based on the findings on those stories, this is where we're going to go for the next couple of months at least, I suppose, and we'll see how it plays out. We could, again, re-explore these options in a couple of months and go, okay, it's not really working. Let's peel it back and see what you guys are preferring more. So based on the replies yesterday, I am going to... Tuesdays will always be the solo episode. Thursdays will always be a guest episode. Now, it was very 50-50 on 3 episodes being too much. Everyone's happy with 2 episodes. So what I'm thinking to keep everyone happy is Tuesdays will always be solos. Thursdays will always be guests. Now, that leaves me in the limbo with the UFC breakdown episodes. Now, I personally love doing them. I just love dissecting the fight cards. I love coming in here. I love talking through them. I love you guys giving me your picks and things like that. So I don't want to drop them. So I'm thinking on the UFC breakdown weeks, that is when you'll get your 3rd episode, because not all you guys are into UFC. And I can appreciate that. It'd be like me listening to a podcast and they do a cricket breakdown once a month. I would not fucking listen to that. And so I don't blame you guys. But I know a lot of you guys are deviant UFC fans, much like myself. So on the UFC weeks, there will be 3 episodes. And that UFC breakdown episode, I'm thinking, based on the results of the poll, that'll come out on the Monday. So you'll have an episode Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, those weeks. So that's where I'm at. That's how I'm going to play around with it for now. And we will see where it all goes. But that's enough of that rambling. I just thought I'd get it out of the way off the top of the episode. Otherwise, I'd get to the end and go, fuck, I forgot to talk about that. But let's get into some shit that's happened this week. Speaking about fighting and stuff like that, my first 2 stories are about fighting. So let's take another sip of this before I rip in and I get a dry throat halfway through this story. So, you guys know, as I just spoke about it, I've been trying to get guests since 2023. And this guest in particular, I have sent probably 5 to 6 DMs in that period. So in the last 3 years. Stalker as fuck. Don't get me wrong, I understand it. I have also mentioned her name upwards of 20 times since the beginning of the podcast. Stalker behaviour. And that is exactly where this story is going, okay? Of course, I'm talking about Rowdy Beck Rawlings, ex-UFC superstar, now bare-knuckle fighting championship fucking megastar, okay? She's the biggest bare-knuckle fighter in Australia, or chick fighter. There's her and Hayes Heppy. And I've shot my shot 1,000 times, and I've said she lives 10 minutes from my house. I see her at my local Bunnings. I see her husband every now and then at Woolworths and stuff, and I always just bitch it. Now, the other night, we were sitting here and we ran out of something, like milk or bread or something. So I go, oh, babe, I'll go to the corner shop and I'll get it. So I go to the corner shop, get the shit. I'm at the register. I'm paying for it. All of a sudden, as I'm waiting for the dude to start scanning my stuff, I look out the door of the corner shop and who do I see walk past? None other than Beck Rawlings and her husband Adrian. And I'm like, you're fucking kidding me. And I was like, I need to shoot my shot. I need to fucking make this happen, okay? So they walk past. I'm now going, come on, buddy, speed this up. Let's fucking go. I walk out. Now, right beside the corner shop, there is a laundromat. And as I'm walking back towards my car to drop my bag of shit, I see Beck and Adrian in there just unloading shit from the dryer. And I was like, God, could there be a worse place to run into someone than a laundromat? Because in my head, all I'm picturing is I'm going to walk in there and go, oh, Beck, it's me, Jimmy Misson, a stupid podcaster from Logan. I've reached out to you 100 times. And as I'm saying that, her fucking bra or undies or something drops on my foot. And no chance of ever getting her on the podcast, you know? So I've gone to my car, I've dropped the bag, and I've sat in my driver's seat and I'm trying to amp myself up. I'm like, how do I do this? How do I approach this? So I'm sitting in my car, I'm slowly glancing over at the laundromat, and every now and then they're glancing out the door as well. And they're definitely noticing me, noticing them. And at this stage, I'm like, this is getting awkward very fast. And I was like, I need to pull the trigger here. I need to do something. And I sat there, I pulled the DMs up that I've sent her just because that was my plan. I was going to go, Beck, this is weird as fuck. This is random. But here, I've sent you this many DMs since 2023. I'm a local podcaster. I live 5 minutes away. I would love to get you on the pod at some stage. And perfect world, she goes, yep, I got time right now. Let's go. But I sat there and I just bitched it so hard. I didn't do it. I didn't pull the trigger. And I was so fucking dirty at myself the whole drive home. And I get home and I said to Nikita, like, she could tell as soon as I walked in the door, I was just deflated. She goes, what happened at the shop? Like, she thought that I shat my pants or something at the corner shop. We could never show our faces there again. I've just ruined our family's local shopping destination. And I go, just saw a guest at the corner shop. I've been trying to get her for like 3 years. I started to explain the situation and she's like, no, like, you definitely did the right thing. Like, that's not really a scenario where you'd go up to someone and be like, hey, I'm that weird dude that's been messaging you nonstop. You've probably seen them and you're ignoring me on purpose. I live 5 minutes away. Why don't you follow me to my house? She's like, that would have came off so creepy. And I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. Like, the whole like, hey, you don't know where I live, but I know where you live. Like, it's fucking, it's not the right, it's not the right procedure. So, Beck, if you're listening to this, holler at your boy. Speaking about female boxers or female fighters, just want to say thank you for the love on the Desley Robinson podcast last week. Absolutely stoked to finally get her in the studio. That was like 10 months in the making, okay? Just non-stop DMs, what's the word? Scheduling arrangements, just things getting in the way. Obviously, during that whole process, she signed with MVP, then she had the big Texas fight, and it was all just a crazy period for her. So I was stoked. Shot her a DM the other day, and she's like, yeah, let's do it before things ramp right back up for me again. So absolutely, the chick that you guys heard on the podcast, that's how she was on and off the camera when she was here the other day. So just humble, elite, but you could see in the back of her eyes, absolutely terrifying. It would be scary to be standing on the other side of the ring from her. So shout out to her for coming on the podcast, giving me a crack. Genuinely appreciate it. And then she goes out to her car after the podcast. She goes, oh, I bought my world titles. You want me to bring them in? I'm like, are you fucking joking? Of course I do. So she brings them in and she makes me do, I posted it on my personal Instagram the other night, makes me do the most cucky pose in the chair. She's like, it'll be hilarious. You hold the titles here and I'll take some photos and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, I feel like such a fraud. And she's like, don't worry, everyone fucking does it. And I was like, okay. So I sit here, I take the photo. But I just want to say, like, this could be the stupidest thing I've ever said, right? But seeing a world title in person those things are a thing of fucking beauty. Like they have made, seeing those in person, they've made me want to take boxing even more seriously. I might take a side quest and just pick up a fucking Queensland state title along the journey. Who fucking knows? But just the weight of these things, they are so heavy, which makes sense. Like it is the pinnacle. It's the trophy. That's what you want to go for. You'd be pretty devastated if they handed you like a plastic belt and you're like, what the fuck is this shit? Like a Macca's toy or something. But yeah, and even like the inside had like woolen lining or something, so it'd be comfortable to wear. Like I'd be wearing that shit as my daily belt. But yeah, like I said, you'd be devastated if you just grinded your whole life out and you just got these terrible belts. So shout out to boxing world titles. Those are, you know what my next target, right? And there is a couple of Australians. I would love to see a UFC title in person. I've seen like the replicas and stuff, but I just think even holding a real one must be insane. So that's probably the pinnacle. I just felt like a drunk chick at a nightclub just holding the title belt. Definitely didn't deserve it. Definitely didn't need it. We've got a little in-studio visitor here. One moment, guys. Yes, Parker? I have no idea where the cat is. Would you like to ask the people on the YouTube if they know where the cat is? Nah? Okay. Yeah, I can help you look for the cat after. Is that okay? Oh, okay. So next story, I think we're just going to have this little visitor for the rest of time, probably. Oh, yep, there he is. P. I'm going to pause the podcast. I'll be right back. All right, everyone, just a quick one. If you've been listening to the pod recently, you know that I've been balls deep in my boxing training and my body is starting to feel absolutely cooked. So to keep myself moving and not feel like I've been hit by a truck every day, I've started using anabolic supplements. They're just proper, no BS supplements, and Nutrition Warehouse has their Anabolics weekend coming up where you can save 30% on anabolics products, and if you spend over $50, you get a free can of Freaked Energy drink. You can get early online access from Thursday the 19th of February, or if you're more of an in-store or online guy, Friday the 20th to Sunday the 22nd, that's where you'll find your savings. If you're training, lifting, boxing, or just want to feel a little bit less broken like myself, now's the time to jump on board with anabolic supplements and Nutrition Warehouse. I appreciate you all. Let's get back to the pod. All right, I'm back. Oh, my Lord. I dare say we'll have a couple of those. Nikita is at work today, and I got both the boys here by myself. So we will see how the rest of this episode goes. Anyway, as I mentioned last week, trying to get the yard back in order, things like that. And we decided we got all the like borders and shit like that we wanted done. And Nikita goes, all right, let's get the bark delivered. So I measure the spaces out. And I basically spent the whole weekend shoveling 8 cubic meters of bark into the new playground section and into our little like fire pit section. And we got about like a quarter of the way through this bark, and it just looked like the pile was not dissolving. And Nikita's looking at me. She's like, you fucked up your measurements, didn't you? I'm like, no. I definitely did. I 100% thought I did. But I just want to go on record, guys. I nailed it to the millimeter. If you go out on our front yard where we got the bark dumped, there is not a skerrick of bark left on the front yard. I used it all. Did I go a bit thicker in some areas just to prove a point? Yes. But am I going to give Nikita the win? No, not at all. Now, I just mentioned there is no bark left on the front yard, right? And similar to that, there is no bark left on this head of mine. I have the most sunburnt scalp in history. It is so fucking sore. It is bright red. I freshly shaved my head last week. Wasn't even thinking. Nikita's going, you should wear a hat. You should wear a hat. I'm like, babe, that's an old wife's tale. Like slip, slop, slap. That was just a conspiracy in the early 2000s, you know, just trying to steal our money. And now my head just looks like a boiled ham. Oh, so I should have listened to, who was that? I don't even remember. Was it like a cartoon pelican or something that was telling us to do that? I don't know. Anyway, let's fucking move on to speaking about heads and hats. Perfect segue. It's almost as if I plan this podcast out sometimes. But when we were doing the yard work, I think this was like Saturday or Sunday or something, we're sweating. We're balls deep into the work. Nikita and I were both hungry as fuck, and we're both like tossing up whether to go in and make something for lunch. And Nikita goes, hey, why don't we just get some chips from the fish and chip shop and just pig out on those? And I'm like, sure. Surely I've burnt enough calories today shifting this 8 cubic meters of bark to earn myself a little treat. So I go, you call up, I'll go get it. She goes, yeah, sweet. She does that, comes back out, and let me set up the story, okay? I wear a hat every single day. Now, when I come inside, I drop my hat, and like we've got like a hallway cupboard, I suppose you'd explain it as. I drop my hat upside down, and it almost becomes like my hat basically becomes my pocket's junk drawer, if that makes sense. So I pull my wallet out, I pull my car keys out, I pull whatever's in my pockets, and I just put them in my hat. So next time I leave the house, I know I'll just pick my hat up, I'll have everything in there, and I'm good to go. Now, I would like to put this down to me just being exhausted and tired, perhaps. Who knows what the real situation was. But I go to leave, pull my stuff out of my hat, put it in my pockets, put my hat on my head. I'm driving the whole way to the fish and chip shop, and I'm like, my hat feels fucking weird. But do you think I stopped for a second and went, well, why don't I see why it feels weird? Why don't I try and correct this? No, I just kept driving, thinking the whole drive, something feels off, something doesn't feel right. And I get to the fish and chip shop. I say to the lady, hey, I just placed a phone order. She goes, yeah, no worries. And she goes to the hot box to get my order. And as she's doing that, I'm like, hey, I've got time to see why my hat's feeling weird. So I go to take my hat off. And as my hat leaves my head, 3 dog poo bags just drop onto the fish and chip shop counter. And my heart has fucking sunk. I've gone, that is awkward. So I just quickly like scoop them up and shove them in my pockets as if nothing happened, but clearly everyone fucking saw it. I just look like some sort of weirdo that stores dog shit bags in my hat. And I just proceed to power walk out of there. Like, the only saving grace is I'm just glad that they were empty dog poo bags. Like, imagine if I stored full ones up there. I would have ruined seafood for everyone. Oh god. But yeah, I don't know if my local fish and chip shop will ever financially recover from my decisions on that day. So, bit of an awkward moment there from me. Let's look, I feel a bit rattled since Parker came in, so let's break this up. Let's play a bit of a turns out it can get worse clip to save the day here. So, what do we got here? We got a bloke with a toilet lid around his head. That could this could be interesting.
I want you to piss on my fucking face. Yep. I want you to piss on my fucking face. I want you to piss on my fucking face.
Just a bloke wearing a toilet lid going, I want you to piss on my face. At that point, that's not even a kink. That guy is just lost in life. I do not know. He actually looks like a dude I went to high school with. I might check in with that guy and make sure it's not him. Otherwise, that could be tragic. But anyway, this is my gripe for the week, okay? Went to Big W the other day. The kids had, I forget if they had some cash or some gift cards or something they got for Christmas. And they've developed a bit of a fascination with Lego at the moment. And I must say, I'm loving it. There is a portion of my autistic brain that just fucking loves Lego. Like, I love sitting there just spending all that time and energy just to build something that slightly resembles something. Like Westy got a Lamborghini, for example. Doesn't really look like a Lamborghini if I'm being honest, but the thought is there. So, and like with the Lego thing, I take over to the max. Like I said, I'm obsessed with Lego. This is just reminding me of that Matty Johns clip back in the day where he's like, it's better than Lego. I don't know why. Anyway, so I'm taking over Parker's Lego and shit. Nikita keeps coming into the room. She's like, let him build it. And I'm like, he doesn't fucking get it and I'm quicker. So I had to take a back step the other day. But anyway, we went to Big W to get some Lego and we go to the counter and I'll just paint the picture, all right? We go to the self checkouts. Now there's 10 self checkouts there, estimating 10. We went early morning, so it wasn't really busy. And none of them were out of order. None of them were like broken or anything like that. I just want to preface that. So at this stage, we walk up to one of them and there might have been another family on another one. So there's still like 7 to 8 free self-checkouts. So we start scanning our stuff and then an old lady walks up to the start of the self-service checkouts and she's standing there And I look at her and she looks at me and I've gone, it's weird. Why aren't you walking to one of the free checkouts? So we keep scanning our stuff, scan another couple of items. I look back over at her. She's still just standing there, death staring me, just standing, just watching, learning, observing my movements. And I've gone, like, I've thought in my head, what the fuck is this chick doing? And she is just standing there waiting for us. I don't know if this is her favorite self-checkout or something. She just refused to go to any of the free ones. She's waited there for, I don't know how long we were there, maybe 40 seconds of us scanning shit before she like came over. We walked away and she just jumped straight on that self-checkout. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, that chick is not shopping. She is dominating Big W. Oh, but anyway. Speaking about kids, I've got a couple of kid stories, as I do. Now, I just want to say, this is a topic of disagreement in our household over the last maybe 4 to 5 days, I suppose. That's how long this has been going on. I'm team all for it with precautions. Nikita is against it, okay? We both had very different upbringings. I was definitely a street kid. I was sunrise to sunset. I was out on the street. I was with mates. We were doing shit that I would not even attempt to do this day, you know? And I would like to think that's where I did a lot of my growing, a lot of my maturing. Like, there is nothing that makes you grow up quicker than just picking on some neighborhood kids and they go, I'm going to go get my big brother to come beat you up. And they're just having to go and hide in the neighborhood and hope that your parents don't find out. That was like my every day of my childhood. There was nothing sicker than walking outside, getting your bike and just going wherever the fuck you want. There were days where like me and my mates were like, oh, mum, we're just going like down the block, and would end up at fucking, I don't know, 6 suburbs over, you know? Like, we were not worried about pedophiles or anything. That was the last thing in our brains. Anyway, so obviously things are a lot different these days. And I've spoken a little while ago that, I've spoken on the last few episodes actually about the neighborhood kids. Now, when I say the neighborhood kids, I'm talking about the kids from the houses, maybe like 1 or 2 houses around us, okay? We can all see our kids. We can all monitor what they're doing. We're all sweet with each other, having each other's kids at their houses, yada, yada, yada. Now, over the school holidays, this gang has grown. There are kids from the other end of the street now. There's a kid here from like 2 streets over. We don't know how he caught wind of this gang gathering that is now happening. And so it is escalated. And that has now led to, hey, Dad, can we do a lap of the block? I'm like, oh, like that was a big fucking thing for us. We were like, we don't know if you're ready, Westy. And he's like, oh, I promise I'll do it. First lap he goes out, Nikita and I are standing in the yard. We got like stopwatches going. We're like, oh, he's been 3 seconds longer than what I think it should take to do the block. Should we call the police? Should we start a search party? Shit like that. Like, we're in full panic mode. And then he'll come back. He'll come flying down the road with a big grin on his face with his mates. And we're like, oh, okay, it's all sweet. Now, he was doing the block for like the first day or 2, right? And obviously, as you do as a kid, the block gets a bit boring pretty quickly. And I've gone, and he's started to go, oh, could we go like up this street? And I'm like, oh, okay. Are you all going? And they're like, yeah, we're all going. We'll all watch out for each other. I'm like, okay. And then I'm just thinking, oh, what did you get up to when you were this young? And that's what I was saying about Nikita and I both had different upbringings. She was very, how do we put this? My brother-in-law say that Nikita and her sister had very sheltered upbringings, okay? They had the type of upbringing of do not leave the front gate. If you get caught past that front fence, you're in big trouble. So they didn't necessarily explore the neighborhood as much as we did back in the day. So, I would just like to say, like, Westy's fucking exploring the neighborhood cautiously. I would like to think that he has enough brains in his head. But like I said, I feel like it's like a rite of passage for a young boy to get on his bike and just explore your surroundings. Like, him and his mates and shit, they're like, and again, I would not do this. I hope they do not get lost in there and I have to go looking for them. But I've said we live next to some bushland and stuff, and they've slowly started to like explore the bush a little bit on their bikes and stuff. And I'm like, oh, that's scary. And I've said about like the homeless, the homeless and shit down there. So I'm worried they're going to run into him. So fucking panic mode. But yeah, I personally think it's good for him. So we'll keep it going for a bit. It's going to be good until it's not. I mean, you can't helicopter kids forever. I would like to think that. I mean, I've said it before. Nikita and I get seen as pretty chilled out parents, I suppose, when it comes to shit that we let our kids do. But anyway, let's get on to my other son. He always keeps me on my toes, and the next story is nothing different. I'm going to take a little sip. So it's been hot as fuck, as you guys know. So Nikita goes to the shop the other day and she comes back with one of those cheap, like $30 inflatable pools. We all know the ones I'm talking about. And we blow it up. Now, I've said as well in the past that neither of my kids were really water babies. They both hated the water. But over the last 12 months or so, they seem to have flicked a switch. And they are enjoying it a lot more than what they were previously. So we blow this pool up, and Parker has lived in this thing to the point where I thought he was going to sleep in it last night. And he's doing all this shit. He's like, watch these tricks. And they're like, look, just quietly, they're not tricks, but you have to be like, whoa, that's fucking crazy, bro. Anyway, he's floating. He's learned how to float. And he's floating and he's so relaxed. This kid will float for like 5 minutes straight. And I have to be like, Parker, are you awake? And he'll be like, yeah. And he just seems so relaxed and chilled. Anyway, I'm sitting out there yesterday afternoon with him. He goes, oh, come in the pool. I'm like, oh, I couldn't be bothered. And so I go, I'll sit on the seat and you just swim and I'll watch you. So the seat is probably 2 meters away from the pool. So I'm definitely not within arm's reach or anything. I just want to say that. Parker starts floating. And he's looking up, and then just quickly, out of nowhere, he just splashes about, sits up straight, looks at me, and he goes, Dad, stop touching me. And I've looked at him, and I've given him a little smile. I thought he was playing around. I go, oh, I'm not touching you. I'm all the way over here. He goes, Dad, I know it was you. And I've gone, okay, that's weird. He lays back down, starts floating again. I don't know, another 30 seconds goes past. He does the exact same thing, splashes about, sits up. He goes, Dad, I'm serious. Stop touching me. And at that point, I started freaking out. I go, I promise I'm not touching you. And he goes, Dad, I know it's you. And I'm going, what are you talking about? He goes, you keep touching me under the water. And I'm going, no, I don't. That is not me. And you are scaring me right now. I'm nowhere near you. And he does it again, floats for maybe like a minute this time. And then he splashes again. He goes, Dad, I'm being so serious. Please stop it. And like the look in his eyes, he was not trying to like have a joke with me or anything. He genuinely thought something was touching him under the water. So I just want to say I will never be getting in that swimming pool because there is obviously an aquatic demon under that water. And I'm not going anywhere near that shit. I can't afford to be fucking touched by a water demon. But anyway, last little story before we rip into my week in comedy. I stumbled across this the other night. I was cruising home from a gig. I've had this random premise in my head for a little while. And again, I don't know if I have the writing skill to really pull this off, but I just wanted to make a point of how white rappers don't get the credit that they deserve. You know what I mean? Like in my eyes, Eminem's the GOAT. Then I wanted to break it down to the point of if a black rapper, say Lil Wayne or something, he writes a line like, I wish I was a little bit bigger. Then he has an easy following line. I think you guys are following. He can just write something and then finish it with the N-word and it rhymes. Piece of cake. White rappers don't get that grace. So I was cruising home from a gig on Saturday night and I'm like, oh, why don't I just quickly ask ChatGPT a couple of statistics and things like that. So I'm trying to think of Eminem songs where black rappers feature in it with him. And I'm like, oh, the song Forever. Like that's seen as a huge hip hop song. It features Drake, Lil Wayne, and Kanye West. All 3 black rappers. And then Eminem's got a verse on there as well. He's the only white rapper on there. So I was like, maybe I could break down how many times Drake, Lil Wayne, and Kanye say the N-word. Then I could use that statistic as to how much harder it would have been for Eminem to write his verse without using the N-word, okay? So I go to ChatGPT. I go, hey, can you break down how many times the N-word is said for me in the song Forever? And this is what ChatGPT gave to me. Now, I just want to say, you cannot trust GPT. You cannot trust ChatGPT for everything, okay? This is one of the first times that I've had to stop and go, wow, okay, maybe you do have some flaws. Because it said to me, in the song Forever by Drake, Kanye West, Lil Wayne, and Eminem, the N-word is mentioned a few times, primarily in Eminem's verse. What the fuck? While the other artists do not use it at all. It's definitely part of the song's explicit content and reflects each artist's unique lyrical approach. Now I go, that doesn't seem right to me, ChatGPT. Are you sure Eminem says the N-word in that song? And it goes, yes, that's correct. Eminem's verse is the one where the word appears the most frequently. The other artists in the song don't generally use it in their parts. So if you're focusing on that one aspect for your comedy bit, Eminem's verse is definitely where it stands out the most. What the fuck, ChatGPT? Yeah, you need to do some research on that shit. I went back and listened to it. I'm like, maybe I've like not heard the song properly. Maybe I'm secretly racist or something. Like, at this stage, AI is the opposite of what I'm trying to get Westy. AI is not street smart, okay? It is not up with its hip-hop lingo and things like that. But before we do rip into my week in comedy, let's play one more Turns Out It Can Get Worse clip.
I thought it goes crazy. I swallow babies. Plan B is what made me a classy lady.
My lord. That dude right there is if Eminem did say the N-word and his career went nowhere. Oh, yuck. But what a little ditty to lead us into the week. But let's rip into my week in comedy. First gig I had was at Good Chat Comedy Club this week. And it was their Wednesday night show. These shows are always fucking stacked. Everyone on the lineup is either a headliner or an MC in the local scene. So they're all pro comedians. And then they sprinkle one or two of us fucking mid-tier comics, I suppose. And I saw the lineup come through and I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, I am going to struggle. So let's touch on this part first because it sort of plays into my set. So I've been on record on here before. Damien Power is my favourite Australian comedian of all time, I'd say. Just watching that dude on stage and the jokes that he comes up with, it just makes me think, how do you do that? Just his stage presence is unreal. So he was on the lineup. He went on in the first half and I went out of the green room just because I wanted to watch it. And just the way that this dude controls a room is absolutely nuts. Like, and the way he delivers comedy, it feels like he's got nothing to go up there with and he just makes everything feel so natural to the moment and shit like that. So he gets up there, he crushes for about 4 to 5 minutes, right? Annihilates. And then he just randomly, out of nowhere, just goes, oh, guys, I forgot to tell you at the start, I'm actually really nervous up here tonight. This is actually my first time ever doing stand-up comedy. And obviously all us comedians and like the few in the crowd that clearly know he's a pro, we start laughing. But the rest of the crowd that thinks he's being serious, they start cheering. They're like, you're killing it. You're doing amazing. He's like, oh, thank you. I'm just so nervous. I'm so scared. The lights are so bright, just playing into all the regular open mic shit that people say up there. And someone in the crowd's like, oh, why don't you ask him to turn the lights down? He's like, oh, that's actually a really good idea. Can we get the lights dimmed a little bit, whoever's running the sound booth? And then he just fucking proceeds to turn that into some sort of open mic meltdown. It was fucking hilarious. But just watching him, I went back out in the green room after his set, just blown. My mind was blown, and I've just gone, that is unreal. Just how relaxed and shit he was up there. So I had a bit of a chat to myself, and I go, all right, why don't you try and learn something from that just then? So what I wanted to do on that night was just go up there so relaxed, so confident in my bits, and just try and like play with them and say them casually. And I feel like I did that because I had a crazy set. I was super stoked with it. Went to set my camera up before it and I go, nah, don't do it. You're going to fucking bomb. Of course I fucking didn't, and I didn't get it on camera. So I was like, fuck you. So that was that one. Thursday night. Oh, I just want to finish that. If you see Damien Power come to a city or town near you, get a fucking ticket. It is worth the money. The dude is an absolute wizard. That might even be one of my little goals this year. Maybe try and get him on the podcast. The only thing is, every time I see him, I'm just an awkward little shy schoolgirl, and I'm like, oh, I love you, Mr. Power. But anyway, we'll see how we go. Thursday night, I went down to Apres surf down at Burleigh, and similar vibe to it always is. It was pretty packed, and everyone just sort of wanted the sound in that room. Everyone just has like their general chit chat between their tables and stuff, so it's very hard to crack them. So I just had one of those sort of mid-level sets. I had them at some points, then they'd lose interest, they'd go back to their conversation, then I'd have to try win them back. So, look, it wasn't the worst set in history, but it also wasn't the best. So I'm thinking next time I do that room, I'm contemplating just doing crowd work and just seeing how that goes. Because obviously then they'll have to be engaged and keep listening to what I'm fucking saying. Then I wrapped up the week. I got a last-minute call up to HOTA, Home of the Arts, on Saturday night. And I was a little bit, I don't know why, I just felt nervous for this gig. I think it was like the first big gig, if you will, of the year. It's a paid gig, much like the Good Chat Show. Everyone on there's a pro. And I was last before the headliner. So I was like, fuck, I don't want to finish on a bomb. Then he's got to work harder than he needs to. And fucking best set I've probably had in about 6 months. Absolutely destroyed, to the point where I had to drop like 2 jokes at the end because I was going overtime. I was worried I was going overtime, but then I kept looking over at the sound booth, and the room runner was like pissing his pants and just sort of, he didn't like me. So I was like, okay, let's just keep fucking playing. So I was absolutely stoked. But that gig right there, like I got to the car and I don't know what the feeling is. I don't want to say it was like emotional or whatever, but you just sit there and you're like, it is impossible to explain that feeling to someone. That feeling from that night is the exact feel, like the exact reason why you do stand-up comedy. Like that little win on that night will just get me through the next 6 months. Just thinking back to that feeling. And yeah, it was absolutely amazing. One moment, I've got another child piping in now. Okay. It's just Westy going on a little street adventure again. So we need to make this podcast quick then so I can monitor him. Anyway, that was my week in comedy. But yeah, that, again, it's hard to explain that feeling to anyone. It's like a heroin hit. Like as soon as you get that, it is just so high. And just when you have a set like that, and plenty of comedians in America and stuff, if you listen to their podcasts, they say about like being in the pocket or whatever, and just, I don't know, you can just break out of your bits, play into shit in the room. I reckon I could probably get maybe 2 or 3 clips from, because I recorded that one as well. So I'm going to go through that later today, hopefully. I've actually got a crazy day after this, so it might be tomorrow. But anyway, let's play our last Turns Out It Can Get Worse clip for the week.
Ain't fucking nut. It's been fucking, I don't know how many hours. I tried my best and I can't fucking nut. So somebody call 911 because I fucking need some help. I'm butt naked over here and I can't fucking nut.
What the fuck? Just a dude having a meltdown because he can't nut. And the fucking, I don't know if you caught it, but there's just a chick laying on the bed. She's like, what is this dude doing? Come on, wrap it up, Hemingway, and just come and try and finish. Oh, Lord. Anyway, I'll wrap it up. A couple of things that I've consumed this week. Let's start with this one. Zach Bryan dropped his new album this week. I had to listen to it last night, actually, as I was drifting off to sleep. I put it on, and look, this is all I'll say on it. Do I like it? Yes. Do I like Zach Bryan? Yes. Does it sound like every Zach Bryan album ever released? Yes again. So, chances are if you like Zach Bryan, you're going to like this album. You're going to like more Zach Bryan. So, yes, there's a couple of bangers on there. A couple of songs are skips. But I think there's like a stupid amount of songs on there as well. Like, just felt like it kept going forever and ever. And some songs you're like, is this the same song as before? But yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed it. Whether or not you're a Zach Bryan fan, excluding like all the shit he does outside of music, we can forgive and forget, can't we? But the last thing, my Lord, I don't know if any of you guys listening have been caught in this rabbit hole, but I gave my Stranger Things wrap up last week about the final episode, and I was like, at the time, I remember saying, yeah, there were holes, there were mistakes, things like that. It could have been finished better, but it is what it is. I still enjoyed it. Let's move on. After I finished that episode last Monday, I got caught in a bit of a rabbit hole on TikTok and Instagram that is being referred to as conformity gate. Now, I'm hoping a lot of you are caught in this conspiracy theory with me, because there are huge conspiracies going around the internet that finale wasn't the real finale. And there was a big rumor that on the 7th, which was last Thursday, the real finale was going to drop. And the big kicker was that last episode we saw that didn't really make sense, didn't really close any chapters, left everything open-ended. A lot of stuff was like, why? Like, that doesn't make sense to what has been going on. I wonder what happened here. What the fuck? Why is that completely different? Where are the demigorgons? They've been here the whole time and they don't show up for the final battle. Shit like that. So there are TikTok detectives just breaking this down to the T. And I just got heavily dissolved in it. And I'm like, oh my God, this makes complete sense. Then, of course, Thursday comes around. I'm refreshing Netflix like a crack addict. Episode doesn't drop. And I'm like, what the fuck? They tricked us. And our only last saving grace is on the 12th. There's a Stranger Things documentary dropping on Netflix where people are now saying, and again, I want to believe this more than anything, they're saying that could be the real finale, because there's glimpses of Nightmare on Elm Street throughout Stranger Things, right? The Freddy Krueger movies. And the last Freddy Krueger movie was supposed to end, and then they did a documentary, which then turned into a movie as well. Freddy Krueger came back, and they just put a big spin on it. So they're like, maybe they're taking a bit of creative advice from that, and the documentary is actually going to be the real finale, and Vecna's going to come back and blah, blah, blah. So I don't know. I'm hoping so, because, oh God, I'm just so tangled in this rabbit hole that I need something to come from it. But anyway, that's brought us to the end, guys. Gigs this week, I've got, that's actually tonight. So, fuck it. Let's plug it anyway, because I'll probably talk about it next week. Monday the 12th, I'll be at Newmarket Hotel for sit down. Wednesday the 14th, I'll be down at Eddie's Grub House. Thursday the 15th, I'm back at Apres Surf, I'm pretty sure. Sunday the 18th, I am at Big Fork Theatre in the Valley. So if you're around any of those gigs, come say g'day, come watch me bomb. Other than that, guys, I've got the guest episode dropping Thursday with Hoey Farmer. Fun little chat, giving us an insight into the whole social media side of things, and him now starting his stand-up comedy journey, it was sick to sit down and have a chat to him outside of gigs. So other than that, guys, send submissions via DM on Instagram at Can't Get Any Worse Podcast, or send me an email at can'tgetanyworsepod@gmail.com. I want to say a quick apology. I feel like I was a little bit deflated this week. I think everything's just caught up with me, and having the kids butt in and out every 2 seconds, it was very distracting. So I hope at least you guys got a couple of giggles out of this episode. I'll be back bigger and better next week. But yeah, other than that, guys, I appreciate you all. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep sharing, liking, rating, all the good shit. Hope you all have a ripper week, and I will see you later.
Can't get any worse, we'll make you see. It's all